It's now time for business here on Prime Business. My name is Winston Taki, and now to our first business story. A former Securities and Exchange Commission Director General, Dr. Adu Anani Entry, is pushing for more education on investment to minimize misunderstanding between the banks and bondholders. This was after some Eurobond investors kickstart processes to steal bank over losses recorded as a result of the debt exchange program. Dr. Entry said this approach could help minimize these challenges.
You see, as I have always been arguing that investors require information to make informed decisions. And that is why if you go to the Securities and Exchange Commission, whenever any issuer is going to issue some securities, the Commission will require you to provide sufficient, adequate information. That information is to enable investors decide whether or not they will purchase the bonds. So sometimes the issuers will think that the regulator is forcing them to disclose so much, but that is what is required so that they will base their decision on the information available. Again, sometimes the information is given, and once it is given, if you, the investor, you don't read. And I mean, sometimes people do not read the information, even though the information is provided for the investor. In many cases, people will just, if there's a prospectus, they will just turn to the end page where the form, subscription form is there, and then they will just fill and sign and purchase the shares. In that case, the information has been provided for you. You decided not to read. So you can't come back and say somebody didn't give you the information. But if you're able to prove that the information was with the advisor and the advisor did not give you that information for you to make informed decision about what to do, then I am saying that you may be able to prove a case against the advisor for not acting professionally in that manner.
Now, Finance Minister Toforson has given the firm assurance the required buffers have been built to ensure that all domestic debt exchange obligations are paid. The Finance Minister gave this assurance at a meeting with managing directors of banks at the Ministry of Finance today. There is more in this report.
Speaking at the meeting, Finance Minister Dr. Toforson expressed government's commitment to fiscal discipline whilst restoring confidence in the financial sector. He added that government is committed to put in place necessary buffers to ensure that every payment due any bondholder under the domestic debt exchange program is paid. Dr. Toforson also went ahead to identify some areas in the 2025 budget that government has demonstrated its commitment to fiscal discipline. One can talk about goods and services and plans to achieve a primary surplus of 1.5% this year to help attain economic stability. He also announced that they have come very far when it comes to submitting the fiscal responsibility rule to Parliament that will put in place debt ceiling for the country. Dr. Toforson also revealed that government is taking deliberate steps to reduce the reliance on treasury bills. The finance minister also noted that there will be more coordination between fiscal and monetary going forward. The meeting brought together all the governors of the Bank of Ghana, as well as directors at the Ministry of Finance.
Meanwhile, financial economist Professor Joshua Abor has argued that the cancellation of the electric transaction levy will improve Ghana's financial sector and improve inclusive finance within the sector. He spoke to Joy Business at the launch of the book titled Monetary Economics in Emerging and Developing Countries.
Well, I mean, we've come from several regimes. So we had a controlled regime, we have a monetary regime, okay, and then now we are using inflation targeting. If you look at the data, inflation has actually performed better, actually trended downwards on the average during the inflation targeting regime compared with previous regimes, okay? We may not be that, monetary policy may not be that effective because of some of the limitations I've talked about. But on the whole, inflation targeting regime has served us better compared with the regimes we had in the past. I think there's a lot more we can do in terms of strengthening the financial system, okay, improving on the efficiency levels of the financial market or financial system, and that can help in strengthening monetary policy formulation and implementation. And so it's something that we need to tackle seriously. If you take the E-levy, for instance, that many people spoke against, it's one thing that impacted on inclusive finance. Okay, we thought we had come far in terms of promoting financial inclusion, but that really discouraged many people from using the payment systems that we had. And for the current development, I think that will help to get back on track and make sure that we drive inclusivity as far as a financial system is concerned, and that can impact on monetary policy effectiveness.
Now, the General Secretary of the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, Ghana, Morgan Ayawine, has hailed the government's idea of a 24-hour economy as an intervention in employment and economic growth. Speaking at the Brong-Ahafo Regional Delegate Conference in Sunyani, Mr. Ayawine, however, called for further explanations and commitment to the policy without partisan polarization in the interest of job creation for the youth.
The Brong-Ahafo Regional Quadrennial Delegates Conference in Sunyani of the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, ICU Ghana, served as a forum to take stock and plan the region's activities. The regional officer, Nuruddin Mohammed, reported membership growth of 67% from the 2021 figure of 1,239, even as they deepen steps to deal with challenges, including unnecessary contract termination and summary dismissal of workers. The conference elected new regional executives with Seth Kofi Ofori as chairman for a 4-year term. He assured of cohesion among employees and employers.
It's about win-win affair. The current state is like the employees want to mount pressure on employers to demand what is not there. And the employer also see differently. So we have to bring the two together. That once you take good care of your employee, it will yield the results for higher profitability, corporate image, and all those things. And when there is that cohesion, by all means, profitability will shoot up, and all of us will benefit.
The General Secretary of ICU Ghana, Morgan Ayawine, expressed worry about the unemployment level in Ghana, but commended the government for realigning the Labour Ministry.
We believe that to reorganize the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations and give it a new outlook in the form of employment, jobs, and labour relations, that alone depicts a clear commitment of the President and his government to formulate a tailor-made policy to deal with the jobs situation in our country.
The Labour Union hailed the 24-hour economy idea, but advocated for further explanations devoid of politics.
We very much hail the idea, but we still think that there's much work to do in terms of explaining and expatiating and defining the 24-hour economy so that everybody can embrace it. If it looks good, we don't think that it should be given a partisan, face. We should all embrace it. We have kept too long in coming out with a national development plan, and it is because of that situation that is lacking in our country. That is why the unemployment situation is getting worse. But supposing we have a national policy dealing with jobs and dealing with unemployment situation, we would have gotten somewhere by now. So the initiative of government looks good, but the implementation and the commitment is what we need to look at.
Precious Semevo, Joy News, Sunyani.
Now, away from that, online business operators say their operational efficiency is impeded by the poor network system in the country. They are calling on the Ministry of Communication, National Communication Authority, and other concerned government agencies to innovate to leverage on the digital economy as an avenue for employment rate. Joseph Obin has more in this report.
The Ghana Statistical Service indicates Ghana's unemployment rate was 3.08% between 2022 and 2023. The online business platform has been identified as a potential space to contribute to the continuous reduction of the unemployment rate. Dennis Mega, CEO of App Africa Movement, a digital business platform, says for the digital economy to grow, the government must innovate to improve the efficiency of the network system in Ghana.
The network is very, very bad, especially at Adum Kumasi right now. For the digital economy opportunities to be well taken advantage of, call on the government to also look into innovating the network systems and making it much more efficient, so that when we're working in the digital world, that everything can be processed as fast.
He says the online businesses such as App Africa Movement are contributing significantly to the local economy, especially in reducing the unemployment rate.
It's a solution to the high unemployment rate. As we are all aware of, there is a lot of degree holders, for example, that are unemployed, right? And what is the reasons for that? It's all due to because of the industrial revolution that we're in. The period that we're in is to do with everything digital, okay? And this is why we're urging all Ghanaians to take part in the App African movement, to take advantage of the digital economy solution opportunity that it has brought.
Mr. Mega urged Ghanaians to take part in the App Africa Movement online business to help digital economy solutions.
One thing I have to tell the government is for the government to basically back this project, because Ghana needs the opportunity to the digital economy, and the app project is the best opportunity thus far in the country in regards to entering the digital economy. With this opportunity, many Ghanaians will be able to establish themselves financially. Many Ghanaians. The current members of this project are really enjoying the financial growth and also establishing themselves financially.
Joseph Obin's reports for Joy News.
Now, away from that, cocoa farmers cooperatives in Ghana are being admonished to shed partisan shackles and restructure their focus and mission on fighting for farmers' rights and cocoa futures. Cooperatives once envisioned engines of empowerment and representation of common goals are often thwarted and hijacked for political parties' expediency rather than progress of the unions. Country representative of the Solidarity West Africa, Eric Amwako Ejare, urges leaders to be vigilant and prevent dealing in political situations.
Cocoa farming is an essential sector of Ghana's economy, with the country being the world's second largest producer of cocoa beans, trailing only behind Côte d'Ivoire. Due to challenges faced by smallholder farmers, cooperatives are formed to address and improve farmers' livelihoods, pool resources, enhance bargaining power, and provide mutual respect. The newly launched Ghana Cooperative Cocoa Farmers and Marketing Association in Kumasi is being entreated to stick to their mission and uphold members' welfare. Country representative for Solidarity West Africa, Eric Amwako Ejare, advises cocoa cooperatives to be conscious of their impact on members.
As cooperatives had failed simply because they were more political than what they are expected to do. But today, the reality is dawning on the cooperatives themselves that if they don't now rework and to ensure that they assume the vibrancy that they have, then it means that they will still continue not to create the impact that they should. We started with them encouraging the societies to better the unions, and now the unions have formed this association. All we are saying is that we will continue to support them to improve the governance arrangements in them so that they become relevant to decision making. They are able to engage in constructive engagement with government and other actors to improve the sectors that we are involved in. You see,
Established in November 2024 with support from Solidaridad under its Reclaim Sustainability Program, the Ghana Cooperative Cocoa Farmers and Marketing Association is an umbrella body comprising 75 cocoa farmers cooperative unions across 9 cocoa growing regions in Ghana. The association aims to strengthen the representation of cocoa farmers in decision-making processes at all levels of the cocoa sector. The launch brought together key stakeholders including cocoa farmers, cooperative unions, civil society organizations, policymakers, industry experts, traditional leaders and other relevant institutions. The association, which is first of its kind in the cocoa sector, was launched under the theme Building a Stronger Voice to Cooperatives to Promote Sustainable Livelihood for Cocoa Farmers, aligning with the 2025 UN International Year of Cooperatives focused on how cooperatives build a better world. President of the association, Isifu, is assuring union members of facilitating smooth policy implementation and ensuring these resources reach farmers effectively. Other stakeholders reach out to assure their commitment and support for the association. The task ahead is doable. For us at WCFO, we lie with the vision and missions of this association.
We align with them.
Cooperatives are formed at will. It's a positive step to embark on this. For Joy News, my name is Clinton Yeboah.
Now, away from that, the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, Juan Selassie Ahiawodo, has supported the call for Ghanaian researchers and innovators to commercialize their innovations to underpin the country's growth and aspirations. Speaking at the official commissioning of the Heritage Institute in Accra, she emphasized the NEIP remains ready to team up with private sectors in research and innovation in Ghana. The Heritage Institute is a skills school that empowers researchers and innovators with the right skills and tools to commercialize their innovations and solutions, driving a shift from the labs to the market. Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, Juan Selassie Ahiawodo, underscored the importance of the Institute in driving innovation.
Innovation is a very, cardinal, ingredient in economic development. Now, countries all over the world are moving towards innovation. Institutions such as Apple and what have you, it's innovations that have made them what they are, And imagine having a phone assembly or a technological assembly plant like Apple in Ghana here. What contribution will start made to the economy of Ghana? So innovations drive economies, And so once this is done and people get the ideas onto the market, it brings in a lot of, resources to support the economy.
Vice President of Heritage Labs said that the Heritage Institute will help to bridge the gap between research innovations and the application or commercialization by empowering innovators and entrepreneurs with the right skill set to succeed.
We would have hundreds of thousands of people who would have been trained in deep science, churning out, research that is viable and ready to hit the market running. We would have a lot of innovators with their registered patents, which is something that we do not have now. But in the future, we're going to have a lot of innovators with their IP and intellectual properties all sorted out, all registered, because the facilities are going to be there. We are looking forward to a society where solutions will be found here on African soil and not having to go abroad for it. This is the future of the Heritage Institute.
The Blockchain Builders Association Ghana has urged the government to leverage its stable democracy to boost investment in blockchain companies and address youth unemployment through the IT sector. Speaking at the media engagement in Accra on the theme Unlocking Opportunities and Creating a Tech-Savvy Workforce, Chief Executive Officer of IAC HQ, Eric Annan stressed the need for a regulatory framework relying on Ghana's political stability to position the country as a global continental leader in cryptocurrency.
What we are calling for Ghana, that Ghana has a unique opportunity, not just to regulate. We are going to regulate, I go for it, we are going to license, but I think Ghana has an unfair advantage, which is our stable democracy. Ghana should call the world that we are ready for business, that Ghana is open to blockchain companies across the world to be a warehouse. So the secret here is this. If Ghana, for example, is intentional to do this, in less than 3 years, we'll see billions coming to Ghana. That's our first thing. Ghana, the entire political system, the judiciary, the legislature, the executive should position themselves as business ready for us to have a conversation that Ghana is ready to become the blockchain world center. Or let's imagine we have World Trade Center in America. Ghana is the blockchain trade center in the world. The benefits I cannot even give it here. It's enormous, and it's just one of the many ways we can start bringing this kind of conversation to the front line. All we are asking is that Ghana is going to regulate. Number one, Ghana is going to have alliances, good, but Ghana, step further, we are going to leverage our stable democracy to tell the world that we are ready. China is not ready. No, don't worry. Singapore is not ready. Don't worry. America is not ready. We are ready. We don't need any permission from nobody. All we need that our system needs to be ready.
Now, away from that, the Chief Executive Director of Life Again, Saadatu Mohammed, has called on the government to support informal sector players who have completed their skills training by subsidizing their cost of equipment. She noted that the high cost of tools makes it difficult for these young entrepreneurs to start their businesses. She made this statement during the International Women's Day Business Development Training in Wa in the Upper West region.
Life Again, a non-governmental organization, organized a one-day business development training for graduate apprentices to mark this year's International Women's Day in Wa. 100 young women from the Wa municipality, including tailors, weavers, and hairdressers, were selected to participate in the event. The training aimed to equip them with entrepreneurial skills and knowledge to help them transform their vocational skills into profitable businesses, thereby empowering them economically. The business development training was held under the theme Accelerate Action from Skills to Startups. In an interview with Joy News, the Executive Director of Life Again, Saadatu Mohammed, shed more light on the program.
Most often, these young women, they learn the skill, they learn the vocational skill. So, for example, at the end of the day, they know how to sew or they know how to weave, but they don't know the business aspect of the vocational skill. So you find them, they have an employable skill that they can use to make money, but they are at home, still complaining that they don't have jobs. So we have decided to organize this event to address that gap by providing them entrepreneurial training to equip them with business skills and knowledge, teaching them the business aspect of their vocational skill.
Madam Saadatu also called on the government to subsidize the cost of equipment that these young entrepreneurs need to start their businesses.
I'm calling on the government to please, if there's a possibility of subsidizing some of these equipments, like the hairdressers, the master tailors, sewing machines, and all the other equipment that this young woman would use to be able to create something from their skill. We are really calling on government to subsidize some of these equipments so that this young woman can acquire them and put their vocational skills and whatever business training we've given them today to good use.
Our Powers Regional Director of the Ghana Enterprise Agency, GEA, Mohammed Abdul Mumin, noted that the business development training serves as a fertile ground for identifying potential entrepreneurs and enrolling them to various GA programs.
The opportunity for these people is for them to come. We enroll them into our current program, Business in the Box. We short call it BizBoss, which is finance, and sponsored by MasterCard Foundation in collaboration with Ghana Enterprises Agencies.
Two of the beneficiaries shared their experiences with Joy News, highlighting what they had learned from the training.
They teach us how to handle our customers and how to welcome our customers and how to run our business. So I'm so grateful to that.
I learned something about using our phone. Example, TikTok. We shouldn't use TikTok for only movies, but we should use them for our website.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
Now, Ghana's Minister of Environment, Science and Technology, Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, has expressed concerns over the escalating cost of malaria treatment and control, particularly through the vaccines. Speaking at the second Global Congress on Genetic Biocontrol Technologies, Dr. Murtala emphasized the need for cost-effective solutions and welcomed the adoption of advanced genetic technologies to combat malaria across the continent. The Africa Genetic Biocontrol Consortium has reaffirmed its commitment to advancing research and innovation in the fight against malaria and other vector-borne diseases across the continent. Speaking on the sidelines of the second Global Congress on Genetic Biocontrol Technologies, Ghana's Minister of Environment, Science and Technology, Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, underscored the critical role of research and innovation in eradicating malaria in Ghana.
We are spending hundreds of millions of Ghana cedis every year on malaria treatment. Several lives. In fact, the figure I saw, which was, Googled by the NBA, CEO, about almost 11,770 something plus indeed lose their lives in this country annually as a result of malaria. Now, if there is a process by which we'll be able to come out with a vaccine that is reliable and dependable, that will help reduce malaria infection, or even if we have that, there won't be any direct, fatal consequences as a result of that. Why should I be against it? So I think that is something that is a novelty, and we need to encourage them, we need to support them in any way or form or shape so that they can indeed perfect some of these, discoveries they are making, and we can then implement them for our growth as a people.
Founder and Executive Director of the Africa Genetic Biocontrol Consortium, Willie Tony, highlighted the cost-effectiveness of the emerging genetic biocontrol technologies.
A mosquito can move from one area to another very, very easily. You don't need a car, you don't need many expenses, to carry a mosquito. And that mosquito, if it's able to suppress other mosquitoes, it will be very, very important. It will be very cheap, to control malaria using these new technologies. It's not something that is going to be rushed. It's something that is going to move gradually within a few years, and then eventually, who knows? Maybe this will replace other tools, but we hope it will be an integrated management of malaria in the world.
The conference brought together key stakeholders from academia, industry, research institutions, non-governmental organizations, and government agencies. That's all for the Prime Business. My name is Winston Taki. Up next is sports. After this break, stay tuned.